Hey, what up, y'all? Hey, do I have my camera right, or do I need to turn it to the side?
No, it's beautiful. We see
Okay.
you.
He's hit y'all and y'all.
Y'all life, man. It's like talking to my wife. She's from Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, so you get a lot of y'alls in your house?
Oh yeah, a lot of y'alls. That's and I spent seven weeks in Mobile, Alabama. So I believe that's where you're from.
Did you?
Yeah, doing a movie.
Yeah, it is. Oh, that's amazing. What? I mean, what movie is it? Should I have seen it?
No. It's coming out. It's coming out in May. It's a comedy, loosely
I
based on my
got
life.
you.
Yeah,
Hey, let me tell you something. Can I tell you something before we start this?
yeah.
I usually do these things, and I have no idea who I'm talking to, and I'm never educated because I have six kids, and I'm just a songwriter. I don't pay attention to anything, but I know who you are, and I I listen to this. Your bit about when the doorbell rings is absolutely iconic in my brain. Like that is my childhood. Like everybody came in, mom was glad to see people, and now we all had it. And I just want you to know that like I literally saw your face and was like, that's the guy. So anyway, just
That's
fun
the
fact
Saint
for you.
guy.
That's it. Well, I appreciate that. That's very sweet of you to say, and I appreciate you. You saying a lot of people relate to that, but it's very multi generational, and people could relate to it. And I'm fascinated that you have six kids, right?
Yes, sir. Yes,
Now,
sir.
you being in the entertainment business, and I love to ask these questions to people
Yeah.
that have a family and are entertainers. How do you balance fatherhood and your career, or do you even think about it?
Man, I don't think about it because it's just not possible. I mean, my wife and I moved here in 2004, and everybody was like, "Hey, wait on the whole family thing. If you're going to do the music thing, it's not really conducive to having a big family." And so we got pregnant, and then people were like, "Oh, you can do it with one, but you probably don't want to more." And then we got pregnant again, and then it's like we just did not listen to anyone who said that it wouldn't make sense, in my work. Hey, you're an entertainer, you know the travel, and it has not been easy to balance. And I'll say my saving grace is that my wife has always homeschooled our kids. So that allowed me to be a present father in a line of work where you normally don't get to do that. So really, to me, that was the saving grace. Obviously, not for everybody, homeschooling, but all my kids are homeschooled, and so they travel with us on the bus. And balance, that's not the word I would use. I mean, it is chaos. There's dogs everywhere. There's kids everywhere, trash everywhere. But it brings it. We're able to be together. But man, I mean, I would never dare say I've ever had a good balance with it. That's always been a fight, a tug of war for sure.
Yeah, no, I wrestled with that myself. And I only got two kids, and like, I never wanted to be like in Montana doing a show, and then my kid is doing a recital.
Yeah,
I wanted to be there for them throughout those kind of those years they're kind of
yeah,
young. So,
yeah.
um,
What's the age
Man,
range?
I get it. My kids are almost 17. My oldest daughter is 16, and my youngest is 9. And to your point, talking about the Montana and the recital, my dad was a real estate agent, and I mean, bro was glued to his phone. You know what I mean? And I took it personally growing up. I would look on the sideline and see mom by herself and be like, "Dad, gummit," and that kind of honestly, I think I kind of overcorrected. And honestly, I don't know if I'm doing it right, but you know how it is, man. You just want to. You just, the other day, my son drummed for a a church like youth group thing, and I just begged. I was like, can I just go to the rehearsal? Is that dorky? And thank goodness he was like, yeah, it's cool. You can go. And I just try to be at everything I can because like you say, there's some opportunities you just can't.
Yeah.
Your kids will understand when they get older, but it's hard as a kid. I remember as a kid, it was hard not to take it personally. Like, oh, dad would rather be working, than be here. And it's just tough. It's tough to understand that when you're a little kid.
Absolutely. So having 6 kids, is this something that you come from a big family and you wanted a big family, come from a small family? Always fascinated when once you start going past 3 or 4, is it like,
Oh, are you crazy? um, yeah, everybody always asks. They're like, "Y'all Mormon? You Catholic?" They always give us the routine questions. But I came from a family of 9, and my household was crazy. My mom had 4 kids. She had 3 boys and a girl, and my dad came from a previous marriage with 3 girls and a boy, and then they got married and had me. And so honestly, I'm closer in age to a lot of my nieces and nephews. So I always loved just tons of kids, tons of family around. And so, Lainey and I didn't have like a number in mind, but we just kept going. They kept everything we split out was good. It was like, hey, let's see what comes out next. Now we do have, honestly, this makes people think we're crazy, but we would have more. But my wife, we lost our seventh. Our seventh was a stillborn, and it crushed us. And but it also really made us even more grateful for the ones we have. And so that changed us in beautiful ways, honestly. But man, I love my kids, and I'm at back to their ages. I'm starting to feel that pain of them leaving. I'm looking at my daughter, and I'm always talk to big game like, oh no, I want y'all to leave. I want you to spread your wings. And now that I'm seeing them begin to spread, I'm like, hold up, we're buddies. You can stay if you want.
Yeah, man. Yeah, it's tough. I mean, I know you got teenage daughters. I only have a 5-year-old and 3-year-old, so they're small. But he's got teenage daughters, and he's kind of coming into that.
Yeah, we go through that. When they're misbehaved, we're like, oh, they only have 4 more years with us, and then the rest of the time, we're like, oh, we only have 4 more years with you. Oh no.
I know, man. I mean, it's so cliche, but good Lord, it's the truth that you're holding them in one hand, and then one day they're like almost your height. They're adult, in your house, and it's fun, but I can feel that sting. I mean, there will be tears shed, that first night. Leela's not in that house. I mean, she has been a rock for our marriage, for our family. She has been through some tough times for sure.
We were just talking. Sebastian was just saying how he just watched his daughter in a recital, and he was in the back by himself, bawling. And I can tell you are a proud papa, and there's probably many of these moments. But do you have like a big proud papa moment you can remember?
Yeah. I mean, there's those obvious moments, and I'm sure you guys can relate. It's when my kids are face to face with adversity, and they get up, is when that really just chokes me up. I've seen just your normal, like, my son Bay's in a baseball slump, and you can tell he's getting up to the plate and he's not doing what he feels like he's capable of doing, and then he gets up and he gets himself out of it, rather than kind of wallowing in that, like, what am I doing wrong? He figured it out. Same with my daughter Leela. Like, I'm noticing she's experiencing the whole broken heart thing a little bit, and just relationships are getting a little more complicated as she gets older, and I love watching her navigate. One thing I just watched my daughter do is, um, in my show, I have uh, three professional dancers. They've been dancing their entire life, and I basically watched Leela start at basically ground zero, learn the whole show with these girls who have worked their whole lives, to dance professionally. And she joined them. And I didn't, the only favor I did was give her the opportunity. And I told her, if you can't hack it, it's no big deal. You shouldn't be ashamed. These people have danced their entire life, you know. But at the end of my tour, we were face to face, the whole night in this show together. And I was like, this is iconic. I will remember this to the day I die. You and me standing on the stage, performing in front of 10,000 people, just having fun, and, she worked her butt off. But man, I am such a puddle. I mean, my kids could literally like blow a bubble with bubble gum. And I'm like, take a picture. I mean, I'm the sappiest, dad, and I have to ask my kids, I'm like, hey, did it embarrass you? When I used to get off the road, and I know the coach hated this, but I would go into the dugout and hug my son. I hadn't seen him in a week, and I'd be like, I don't care what any of you dads say. I'm going to physically hug my son. I will not wait till this game is over. And y'all, you can judge, you can do whatever you want. But I'm gonna give him a hug, And so I don't know. Maybe I go a little.
No, I could relate to that. Even at this recital last night, I'm watching Serafina, and we were up high, and I knew she was looking for us. I was gonna run down and tell her in the middle of the thing, we're up there, we came, and I'm like, is that appropriate?
No, when they see you, when they're scanning the audience, and then you get eye to eye, and they light up and you light up.
Oh,
it's the best.
Yeah,
it's the best.
Yeah,
that's a moment. That's a moment.
So I know you've had. We won't keep you much longer. I know you had.
No, you're good. I love this.
Okay, you've had 6 kids. You've kind of been through colds, flus, what have you. Was there one thing in particular that you had a question about? And if you don't, that's fine. To ask the doctor in regards to, we've had callers call in and say, hey, just the last caller we had, her son's penis is small. We've we've gotten
she needs to look at her husband. She should have married another dude.
Well, I found out there's a thing called micro penis, which is a.
Oh yeah.
Which is.
It's like, yeah, give me a go.
I've heard of this.
But no, I mean, if you had a question or anything in regards to pediatrics that you were like, oh, I want to ask a doctor,
or anything that's come up with your kids that was like concerning, like Sebastian's daughter was in the hospital with some breathing stuff. Anything come up with the kids?
No, I actually, we are. This may, and you. I don't know if like this is a controversial topic to bring up. I've been known to say the wrong thing before, so pardon me. But I'm actually going to Rwanda soon, and all of my kids they're all different levels of vaccination.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just curious, like, have you done any of that, like traveling abroad? Would you recommend just going to get A through Z? Like, let's just load them up. Like, do you catch them up week by week? Like, we're not like pediatric regulars in our house, so I don't really know. Maybe some advice on that would be helpful. We're going in March.
Okay, so you've often heard we're going to whatever South Africa. You need these shots to go there. Do people not get these shots and just go in and see what happens, or what's the recommendation?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes for international travel, and it really depends. The CDC website has where you're going, what time of year different illnesses are more likely,
Right.
mosquito illnesses, things like that. And in countries like where you're going, sometimes malaria prophylaxis is important, like taking medicine so you don't get malaria. And then there's other medicines like typhoid and yellow fever. And these aren't your typical vaccines, right? We don't do it in the United States because we don't have to worry about
Right.
these illnesses. Though it is often worthwhile at least to have that discussion with a travel doctor about it for both you and your wife and the kids, because these illnesses are much more serious and because of where you're going. And it really, again, depends on the
Right.
city and the time of the year and what's going on. And then, as they get older, a lot of the vaccines they may have gotten as children, if they haven't, you sort of outgrow them. Like
Right.
we don't give them. But then there's some older vaccines that also may be worthwhile for international travel, as well as being in the United States. Things like meningitis and things like tetanus, because again, these are more serious things that they could be exposed to. So it's probably worth the conversation, especially a big trip like this, just for the sake of prevention as best as possible.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we'll definitely check in, um, with a doctor we trust. I think he actually lived over there
Yeah.
for some time,
Oh,
so
perfect.
he knows. I think realistically, like,
Yeah. What's
what we
likely,
all
what's
need.
not exactly.
Right. Right.
Yeah. So you can go enjoy.
Okay, and the final question: the song you had, I only know it as the Applebee's song, right?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Now, this was a song that became popular. There's also a dance attached to the song. I
Right.
often wondered, do you, the artist, are you working with TikTok people and going, here's this song, come up with a dance as like a promotional tool for the song, or
Oh,
does this all
look.
happen organically?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think anyone believes me, like, when I answer this question, because look, here's the deal, guys. Coming out of COVID, I had 430 something 7 days with no show. I had no clue what was about to happen with my music career. It was, we were kind of have to, like, recharge it, because I hadn't been out there playing. I hadn't had a lot of music out. I had an EP coming, which had 6 songs on it. And I mean, they were all right. But one of the songs on that EP was Fancy Like. I had no contact with Applebee's. I never even assumed Applebee's would even like the song. I just loved the song. And over COVID, my daughter got on TikTok. My team said, "Hey, you need a TikTok." I was a little frustrated. I had literally just figured out Instagram. So I was like, man, I don't need another social platform. So my daughter and I did a bunch of dances just for fun. We would do the trendy ones and make up a few. One Sunday afternoon, literally the 2 days after Fancy Like was released, my daughter, we came home from church. She said, "Yo, Dad, Fancy Like needs a dance." You guys, I'm not lying. We made up that dance less than 30 minutes. My wife filmed it twice. We posted it. And by the next Sunday, it had over 15 million views and the internet was broken. Applebee's was calling. Uh, it was insanity. I mean, I literally went from, like, hey, I'm just chilling at the house, hadn't shaved in 100 years. And then all of a sudden, on the Today Show, and that dance is every freaking where you live. I mean, none of it was planned.
Wow.
Absolutely none of it. Now I'm like, man, how do we do that again? And I can't figure it out. It's crazy.
That's nuts.
We're gonna get Sebastian to do that dance. We'll send it.
Come on.
Yeah,
You got to do it.
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. And your daughter must have a pass for everything now. I mean, if she does anything wrong, she'll be like, "But Dad, remember the Applebee's dance?"
Remember the dance? Yeah. No, we have now, honestly, the coolest thing I ever got out of this was I got a gold card. It's like free Applebee's for life. So, I mean, when I get to hang with y'all, I'll take you out, you and your families. It's on me.
Let's do
Done.
it, man. We're going to
Let's
Applebee's.
go.
Well,
Let's go.
Listen, man, we really appreciate taking a sliver of your time to talk to us today. And where are you at? Where you in Tennessee?
I'm in Nashville. Yeah, I'm actually right south of it in
All right.
Thompson Station, and I'm actually meeting the kids. We're doing the Santa picture today, the yearly thing. So
Nice.
that's what we're about to do. Right? Man, I love it. I mean, y'all up anytime. Y'all are good
All
dudes.
right. Next time in Nashville, we're hitting Applebee's and getting a bite to eat.
Really appreciate you. Huge fan
go.
and bigger fan now. Amazing.
Yeah. What is you got any like new specials coming out?
Yeah, I got a new one on Netflix that just came out last Tuesday.
Let's go. What's it called?
It's called Is It Me?
Okay. Let's go. I'm gonna go check it out
All right.
tonight, man. It's awesome. I appreciate
All
you
right.
guys.
Merry
Yeah,
Christmas.
thank you.
Take care.
The opinions expressed in this program are not intended as professional medical advice, as a diagnosis, as a treatment protocol, or as a substitute for professional medical advice from your physician. Please consider your own medical history and consult with your own physician for your specific healthcare and/or medical needs and about your concerns for yourself and your family.